in the park that were not a part of the master plan. This is an area called the Granite Prospect, and this is all salvage granite. In terms of stormwater, we're the first park in New York City to collect as much stormwater as we can for our own irrigation purposes. You could see here in the left part of the slide, obviously in a New York typical street, all of the runoff from the rain goes directly into our very old sewer system, which means that we have a lot of issues with our combined sewer outflows after periods of significant rain. Obviously, for us, the goal was to salvage, or not salvage, but contain as much of that rainwater for our own irrigation purposes. So each project that we starts with the excavation for a system of tanks to contain stormwater runoff, which has been very successful. And here is the beautiful visual amenity atop those stormwater retention tanks. We've created a system of freshwater gardens that help us collect the rainwater, and then we hold that rainwater in tanks to use for our irrigation. We've also used green roofs to the extent possible. We haven't built that many buildings, but you could see here, this is a small gatehouse for utilities where we've built not only a green roof, but we've also used the salvaged pine to clad that utility structure. I talked about the edges earlier in the presentation. The success of the revetment slopes, not only for an aesthetic, from an aesthetic perspective, but also from a natural ecology perspective, has been really important. It's been those areas of bulkhead that we've removed to build these beautiful revetment slopes that have really, I think, saved the waterfront, especially given the fact that we're now dealing with this sort of post-Sandy era where we're expecting to have a lot of storms or times of storm surge. So I think this idea of shoring up our waterfront with the simple riprap bulkhead, which is really a very low-tech response, has proved to be the most sustainable way to protect the waterfront. I don't talk about plants that much. I'm not a landscape architect, though. Obviously, one of the things that's most successful about our park is a very, very rich planting topology. And that, I think, for me as a planner, the most exciting part of that is how can you really succeed putting nature in an industrial setting, and how do people relate to that? How does it succeed? What are the decisions that go into that? And the MVVA team has done a superb job in, I think, balancing both really very traditional concepts that Olmsted used in terms of large